Grandmama used to pray, oh Lord, please save them from the evil snares and all the dangers that entangle. Yea, though they walking through the valley of the shadows, just prepare and make them fit for every battle, because I know they bound to come, and I know they bound to fall, but in your bounty, Lord, preserve their beautiful. Right, we still survive and offer grandma's prayers, surrounded by the jungle and the lion's den. Tread light, cause these traps is inconspicuous. They hide right in plain sight, thinking we don't see them when they linger. Look right beneath the surface, then leave a trail of corpses. Crisis, prices, your life a disposable commodity. Like living in this fantasy, conditioned to believe that the system even cares. Whether selling CDs or walking or driving or reading, look, they don't even need a reason. It's just you breathing and being black. When it's such a pretty fall, it don't seem like we falling at all, at all. It's just a GMO dream, where things are never really what they seem. Please cue the violins, tell them just to play me something pretty, cause this gritty city got me screaming bloody murder. Said it got me screaming. This gritty city got me on some. Look, get your hand up on my pocket. Distraction, so lazy they use the same tactics. Like condom with some trinkets, just don't let them get to thinking. That light bulb gets a blinking. You know niggas and ideas. Oh dear, my dear, you may not know me, but I know you very well. Foresight, they say hindsight is 20/20. Well, tell me something, we gotta see that history is on repeat. And maybe it takes a beat and a melody to speak a little louder than the message in the clouds or the essence in the air. I swear, my God is just so clear that a system driven by fear can never give us nothing but more of the same things. Oh, when it's such a pretty fall, it don't seem like we falling at all. It's just a GMO dream, where things are never really what they seem. Please cue the violins, tell them just to play me something pretty, cause this gritty city got me screaming. It's murder. Got me screaming, got me. This gritty city got me on some.
I want to. Yeah, it's Mumu fresh. I never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my address. In a torn up town, no postcode envy. Now everybody's like, come on, let's celebrate. Finally we're getting cake. Every day we hustling, trying to fill a dinner plate. We don't care. The underdog don't have no fear. So if we sing about gold teeth, Maybachs, diamonds in our timepiece, you should raise a glass, help us free from this poverty so unfair. Give us free from this love affair, cause we're already royal. Seeing runs in our blood. We just been having tough love. We need a different kind of buzz. Let me be your ruler. You can call me Queen Bee, and baby I'll rule. Come see my reality. My friends and I, we've cracked the code. We count our dollars on the train to the party, and everyone who knows us knows that we are because we say we are. Now everybody's like, come on, let's celebrate. Finally we're getting cake. Every day we hustling, trying to fill a dinner plate. We don't care. The underdog don't have no fear. So if we sing about gold teeth, Maybachs, diamonds in our timepiece, you should raise a glass, help us free from this poverty so unfair. Give us free from this love affair, cause we're already royal. Seeing runs in our blood. We just been having tough love. We need a different kind of boss. Let me be your ruler. is the ones who never had none. So first piece of the pie, we try and grab something. Snatching and running, packing and gunning, landing 100. Flashing in front and scared of everything, but call it nothing. We don't know that old true blue blood slave money. War heroes take it to their grave money. Cotton money, cane money, diamond blood stain money. They tell us to save money, we don't get paid money. Only talking small money. 2 for $5, pack of Pampers, black and mild money. Mattress pile high money. We know sneaker fly money. We know racks and racks and racks and racks and racks money. What about that tax money? Oil money. Africa's rich soul money. So thick you can't fold money. British East Indian Company, old money. Gold money, limestone coal money. It's like the whole world is upside down. And the real royalty has been reduced to clowns. Lost in the sauce. And we don't know which way to go. They blew the nose off the Sphinx, so we never know. We royal. Yeah. We royal. We're greater than they say we are. Yeah. So go ahead and call me star. Yeah. Wake up if you dare. Let's get free from this love affair.
What's happening? This is RSTV. We live and direct. It's Kalonji Changa. You already know who's standing next to me right now, who's sitting next to me. Mumu fresh is in the building. What's good, Mumu? How you doing?
Hey, peace. It was cool watching that back. I was like, oh, I remember that.
That's a classic. I think a lot of folks, a lot of folks missed it. Definitely glad to catch you. Have you come on today? I know you super busy. Got a whole lot of dope new music, you know what I mean? So for folks who are unfamiliar, Mumu threw me a rock a few minutes ago. She's like, look, you know that's me, right? I'm like, yeah, I know, but I ain't know. Some real dope material, you know what I mean? I like the piece that definitely you did with Toby. I know that's, you know, that's in the last couple years or whatever. And I know you have tons of other work. For folks who are unfamiliar with you, if you don't mind giving us a little bit of background of, you know, who you are and where you come from.
Yeah. Okay. My name is Maimuna Youssef, also known as Mumu Fresh. I'm from Baltimore by way of DC. A singer, songwriter, MC, workshop facilitator, now audio engineer. What else? I have an educational platform, University Studies. I'm on the board of the Copyright Alliance, of the Recording Academy, of the Black Music Collective, U.S. Ambassador, Music Ambassador for the United States. I'm a cultural philanthropist. You know, I'm a community member, artist activist, among many other things.
No doubt. Now for the small part of it, you also been nominated for a couple Grammys, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
I've been nominated before. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know one with the Roots for Don't Feel Right.
Don't Feel Right, yeah. The other ones were on different albums, like Moonchild. I did a song with them when their album got nominated. Terry Lynn Carrington, her album got nominated. I did the single for that one. Who else? Brandy Younger. I did the lead singer for that. She's nominated this year. I also helped create a new category for the Recording Academy called Best Song for Social Change. So I'm one of the co-writers of that proposal that created a category for songs that are multi-genre. All have to be steeped in some type of social justice cause theme.
No doubt. No, that's a point. You got you have a dope video that we play at the end as well. North Star with one of our favorite MCs. I could have swore that was nominated as well. Am I wrong?
No, we didn't get nominated that year for North Star. We should have.
Right.
We should have. Me and these folks. Nah, They were
Yeah.
slipping. It's okay.
Okay. That was definitely a joint. Shout out to D Smoke as well. We got to
Mhm.
get him on the platform. You know, again, you know, you've been putting in this work for years,
Mhm.
you know, and I think that oftentimes some people would say that you are you and our other guests who will be popping on in a minute will be underrated, but I wouldn't say underrated. I think that by industry standards, and we don't go by industry standards, you know what I mean? We go by the people standards. You know, we see you all as superstars. So
Yeah,
definitely
we made different choices,
right,
Every
right,
every choice has a repercussion and outcome. We made choices not to be prostitutes. And so
right.
that, as Nipsey said, that causes you to have to take the stairs. And so that's what we have done. But like you asked me earlier, you said you want to make sure that you have the rights to use it. And I said, I own my own copyrights. You
No
got
doubt.
the right because I own it. So it's a different path that we chose to take. And sometimes that path is a little slower, or it doesn't come with as many accolades. But to me, it was really like the only choice. It was the only choice. I just wasn't. I understood what they wanted for Black women in the industry. I know where our place is in their minds. And I that's not the life that I came here to live. That's not the imagery that I want to promote. I don't want to be a part of the problem. I want to be a part of the solution. So if it means that we got to do things a little bit differently and do them independent, and write our own scripts, our own narratives, our own stories, own our own masters, whatever that process is. It's slower when you do it by yourself. It's harder when you do it by yourself. But it's to me, it's more rewarding. It's something I can leave. I have a legacy to leave for my son. He's gonna be able to own something because I fought for it. I know I've opened doors for other women where those doors were not open before. And the perspective that I have gained through doing music, traveling around the world, taking my son on tour, the opportunity that being a musician has afforded me to allow my son to travel and homeschool him. He's on an incredible trajectory right now academically. And I don't believe that would have been possible had I taken a different path in the industry and done the things that they thought I should do.
No doubt, no doubt. And we appreciate that. And that's part of the reason we brought you on today. We wanted to talk about, you know, music, uh, culture, spirituality. And I think that you and our other notorious guest here, Sunni Patterson, you know what I mean? We think that that's something that yeah, that y'all bring to the table. I'm like I'm on fan mode today because I'm gonna just go ahead and say it right here publicly. This is two of my favorite artists, not two of my favorite female artists, not two of my favorite independent artists, but two of my favorite artists. Period, because of the fact that it's always solid, it's always consistent. You know what you're getting. It's not gonna be, I'm not gonna look up one day and Sonny's doing a track with Sexy Red. I ain't gonna look up today and Mumu is, you know what I mean?
I might. I
You
might.
you might. I've seen it happen before. Well, it'll be a certain type of track. It'll come back. It'll be in line with what it is that you're bringing to the table. So,
Listen,
welcome to the platform.
that shit. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
for folks who are unaware, here at RSTV, I hijacked Sonny's song in the intro. You know what I mean? And folks always asking, "Who is that? Who is that? How can
you.
we get it?" You know what I mean? So it's Sunni Patterson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And your sister's so bootleg, you know how it goes. But
we,
it's
we
there.
we get it done. We get it
We
done.
get it done. We get it
You
done.
know. Yeah. So for folks who are unaware, of with you and your work, and I apologize to both of you in advance. You're like, man, how you got us reading our own bios? I like to, a lot of times we have our generic version, and sometimes it feel better when it's natural. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I can give you what I know about you, but who's a better, whose pen is more powerful when it comes to our own work and our own
Mm.
worth. So for folks who are unaware, if you can give them a brief bio and we could hop on in.
Oh, okay. I am Sunni Patterson, born and raised right here in New Orleans, child of Glenn, aka Tweet Patterson, and Charlie P. Uh, so yeah, it's something I guess I can say to always start right in ways of honoring aspects of lineage and ways of honoring aspects of the first home and what that means in the introduction, I guess, of who we are, which is always a beautiful thing when it comes to being amongst family and being amongst people who also have to salute right their own lineages and then the collective lineages of those. So even though that in a nutshell, I guess, is a lot of who I am, which is um, yes, artist and poet, but then it's, mama and community worker and everything that comes with that. A magician in the spare time, you know how it is. We are the great ones who always make something out of nothing. So thanks be to God for the artist in that way. Yeah, it's a bunch of things. I do a bunch. That's something when we talk about, even in saying that, I'm kind of rambling thinking about a bio. It's a whole bunch that, like you said, that we could read, but the reality is that we start moving into what we do, and not always, I guess, who we be in that way. So, you know, in the midst of that, I'm just giving thanks for being who I am, in that way. And that's a whole bunch of things depending on the time and depending on the moment, So we give it thanks for the times and moments that call out, the best of who we may need to be in those moments. So yeah.
No doubt. Now, like from the I would say the generic resume, right? That say that's online and people, they do their oohs and ahs about.
Right.
You both have incredible works and catalogs. You know, from you with the whole deaf poetry to the TED Talks and the Beats by Dre and all of that type stuff. And again, Mumu with a number of things that we just mentioned as well. One of the things I appreciate about the two of you is having a grounding and a foundation based off of spirituality, right? And I think that for me, one of the things I often say, I don't for what I do, I don't couldn't really understand any African who doesn't have a spiritual grounding when it comes to our liberation. I think it
Mhm.
goes hand in hand. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Regardless of what you do and what how you feel about it or whatever, that spirituality seems to be what really just holds and thrusts. And I wanted to know from you two, um, what does that mean to you, and how has that guided you as the individuals you are, and how does it guide you to move collectively? And either one of you can get it started first, if that's all right.
What say, or well, we start. I can look, my Mona, this is my other Pisces sister.
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh oh.
we can't help but go from, I think, the base. I heard somebody say, they say, sometimes somebody's floor is another person's ceiling.
Oh yeah.
When we're moving from that space of base, floor, bottom, that base, floor, bottom has to be shoulders, has to be true foundation, has to be pillar, has to be, this aspect of spirit that allows us to propel in a way where it's really a breaking of and busting through of any other kind of ceiling. right? So it's something that allows us in our artistry.
Can I go with Zoe to go check
and
on
then
her
when
mom?
you have these kind of things that
Mama,
come up too.
Can I go with Zoe to go check on her?
Okay. So there's that part.
We all had that. It's all
That
good.
spirit is not the foundation. It would be a whole nother conversation. But
Right.
but I think that's the biggest part, especially for this kind of artistry. This kind of artistry in this time, especially of creating worlds, how we create worlds, um how we create present and future and honor aspects of healing for the past in this right now moment, as these kinds of artists that have a job and really an obligation, because it's the spiritual obligation that we just can't get around. I'm saying we because I know that on this part I can speak for my sister also, in that way, that I know that she can't get on the stage without spewing her mother's song, without pouring out uh, the cry of her grandmother in the way that she so beautifully does. And then when her mother gets on stage with her, for us to hear this even more, right? For us to be washed in these notes in this way. I know that for myself, I know I can't get around um, the same thing. The mother's song. We can't get out of the father's prayer. We can't get out of the grandmother's way. We can't get out of, it's certain things that we can't get out of, and that we don't want to get out of, right? When it comes down to how we have to move in this aspect of art and this aspect of life and this aspect of science, and bringing these things together so that we can see that it truly is this aspect of water and wind and fire and earth and everything in this way that allows us to bring these things together so that we can truly move and really believe in that kind of aspect of oneness and that kind of quantum kind of leap and quantum belief that allows us to go beyond this realm into every other and still be whole and still be good and still know that we're holy and still know that we're divine. And some people will say, well, a poem can't do all of that. A song can't do all of that. The stroke of paintbrush can't do all of that, or whatever other method and modality that we use for this kind of healing work. But the reality is that it absolutely can and does on a very, very regular basis.
Right.
No, that was that's powerful because I joked about the whole sexy red thing. You know what I mean? But I've seen you get down with folks like 2 Chainz, who is one of your folks that you came up with, if I'm correct, and
Right.
the Little Waynes and so on and so forth, and
Right.
still hold court and still not compromise your position. That is that's something that you can't necessarily do with industry. That's something that you come, you know, with from that spiritual aspect. You know what I mean? And it's respected as such.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a crazy time. I'm you making me think though about with I think one of the things we have to do for BET, as a matter of fact, the one of the hip hop awards or something. I can't remember. Was it hip hop awards? It was one of them. But it was crazy one because they call, at the last minute all the time. And I'm thinking about, because it's not necessarily sexy red, but it was, how do I bring in Shake That Money Maker and still talk about Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. I was like, wait a minute, what? It's it's one of them where they send you the track
Right.
and it's like, okay, but it's the instrumental, right? It's just a track. And you know what you have to write to. Then they send you their words. They send you the full track. I say, how the hell y'all want me to talk? Because the thing was, they want me to talk about, we had to mention Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. I think it was like Kamala, Kamala Harris was introducing it or something like this. But it was like it couldn't be played unless, so this was during the pandemic, so there had to be hip hop awards. It couldn't be played like unless George Floyd and Breonna Taylor were mentioned, all of these kind of things. So again, they didn't tell me the song, they just sent me the track. So I'm like, how in the hell is Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, how are we about to, make this happen? And that was a trip too, because I was fresh off of one initiation. So with that particular initiation, right, I couldn't wear black, and of course that was the colors for the for the performance, black. I ended up still wearing white, but yeah, that was the whole thing. So writing for something like that, but again, so there's a line in it that says, I know it may seem like these themes don't match, but this is the fullness of what it means to be black. So that's a real belief that, like they say, we're not a monolith, so it's like, yeah, these things are all going on at the same time.
It
doesn't have to, right, it doesn't have to mean, I know for a fact that my liver has never acted as my spleen, right, that my gallbladder was not my spine. And still all of these things have to work together in order for this one organism to walk, move, and have its being. So all of these things can exist, and they have to exist. And it's really just for the artist, for us to find the beauty and wonder in it all, and still see it again as divine, and still see it as holy. So yeah, that was when we talk about, okay, it might not be sexy red, but you understand. So it's a thing. It's a thing.
No doubt. Mumu, same trajectory.
Yeah, well, definitely everything she said, and everything is spirit. Everything is spirit. I think what I've been learning about is choice, right? Mm-hmm. That in your spiritual journey, as opposed to the kind of religious way that we've been taught to look at things like good and bad, it's really just a choice. A particular vibration will create a cause, will create a particular type of effect. Is really just what you want to experience in your reality. So I have seen myself at different points of my spiritual practice attract some stuff I didn't like. And then I had to vibrate differently to attract something else that I did like. And even as a writer, as many times I got to be, my word is so powerful. My power of attraction is so immediate. I have to be so mindful about, like, I might have some dope ideas, some cool, funny stuff, some whatever stuff that I want to write. It'll sound dope, but I got to be real mindful because I will bring it into being like almost immediately. Yep. So it's a lot of stuff I just don't get to write because I don't want to experience that. And I remember when I was a kid, I heard Tupac say, I never had problems with the police till I started writing about having problems with the police, right? And I'm thinking, like, what does that mean? I know what he means. I know exactly what he means. Yeah. And when you are tapped in a particular way and called in a particular way, like, I know my ancestors don't really play about me. So it's certain stuff I cannot do. Never been able to do. I cannot drink. I cannot smoke. I can't even eat dairy. All right. I can't be in certain places. I can't be in certain clubs, certain bars. Like, I am clear already. They do not play about me. I don't have the privilege of doing certain things. The harm that I will take in will be much more intense than someone else. And because I know that about myself, I just got to move a certain way, and I can't explain it to nobody. I don't even try no more. I don't care however you feel about the fact that I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm staying home. No, I'm not going. Because it's just certain places that, spiritually I can't be in. And the more aware you become, you start to see the different it's subtleties that with very deep impact. And if you don't know why something is happening, you just be thinking like, well, that's just life. Well, it's an effect of a cause, and it don't make it bad or wrong, but it's just, it's like the universe is just it's always mathematical. It's a mathematical equation. So, you and sometimes it might not even be this lifetime that you put it into effect. But everything that's been put into effect, it will have a cause. I mean, everything that's been put into created a cause, it will have an effect. And when you put something in motion, I think about it like setting a ball at the top of a mountain and rolling it down. Halfway through, you might say, oh, I don't want this, but you got to wait till you get to the bottom of the hill. And when we set things in motion with our words, with our actions, with our behaviors, sometimes it's even just a mood. sometimes your mood can just attract a matching vibratory energy or thought form that then creates an experience and a reality. I've never known anything more true than this. And it's hard. It's not hard to understand when, but it's so simple. You believe it can't be real until that is absolutely my reality. That is what I have come to understand is always at play, whether we get it or not. The truth don't need you to get it or understand. It just is what it is, right? So the way I've had to move in my career has been a particular type of way because I'm aware of what my words and my vibrations and the places I'm at, what they put into motion in my life. And certain stuff I just don't like. I don't want that. I've lived that already. No, thank you. You can have it back. And so I'm very particular. I'm very particular around about who I'm around, what spaces and places. And why, I'm from Baltimore, so I understand the full spectrum of the Black experience, but it's just some stuff I ain't coming. I'm not because I don't want to smoke. I want to vibrate in a place where I'm going to enjoy what I'm attracting. So spirituality is absolutely everything. There is nothing non-spiritual. Everything is spiritual. And everything is just a vibratory match or not a match. But your experience is just about how you're vibrating and what is matching up, what you're allowing into your frequency. People don't like to think about it like that, but life is not happening to you. It's happening with you and through you.
Yeah.
And that's everything. So I just be mindful these days. I can't play around. And you see a lot of artists starting to get that. They're starting to get it, right? Even if they didn't really come from that. Like I came from it. Like I had elders that put me on to stuff that I still would not understand until much later. But even artists that didn't really come from that, you see them starting to like peep, like, hold up. You know what I mean? And they are wanting now to change what they're saying and doing because they see the repercussion, the energetic repercussion that is coming back to them. It's always fair. It's the same for everybody. And so, but then sometimes their brand don't allow them to
there you go.
To do and be what they know they want to be because they don't like what they're attracting, but they scared to change and do something different. And the other thing is that you can't really serve multiple masters. People think that you can serve multiple masters and call that balance. If it's balance, why you don't feel good?
Right.
Why you don't feel good? Because balance feel like peace. So if you ain't at peace, that ain't balance. You got to go back to who am I serving and why. That's
that's part of, and I'm glad, to get on this particular side of the spectrum, and that's why I wanted to. I talked to a couple of folks. He's like, "Oh man, you're gonna have them on there together? Why don't you just have them on there separate? This and that." I'm like, "Nah, I wanna, yeah, I wanna. To me, we need an abundance of spirituality.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? One of my brothers, Ekandayo, he has a song called about therapy. He said, "The world is sick. We need therapy." Right? So we need the spirituality. You understand what I'm saying? Some people call it intuition, the secret, and all this other stuff, right? The reality is, just on what you're saying, I think that you cannot be serious or sincere about anything African and not have that type of opening or that type of relationship with the universe. You understand what I'm saying? It's not, to me, again, there is no revolution without that revelation, without that universal spiritual, guide. Because if not,
that's good, Kalonji.
Yeah,
there's no revolution without revelation. That was all right.
It's what it is. Thank you,
and
Pastor.
you see that in our leaders, right? When we study our leaders and where they went astray, they weren't spiritually grounded.
Right.
When you allow your vices to get the best of you, whether that's women, drugs, ego, you're not spiritually grounded. Because if you are serving, right? If you really serving God, you can't also serve your ego and serve God. You can't serve cocaine and serve God. You can't serve, your lust and serve you. Because when you're really serving God, you're gonna get the answer. God gonna be like, that's beneath you. Don't do that. That's that's going to destroy the whole movement. Don't do that. And when you're a real servant, you are obedient. And so when we look at some of our revolutionary leaders and some of the pitfalls that they fell into, in my estimation, is because the spiritual component was not intact. They were not actively engaged in spiritual activity, spiritual reverence, spiritual surrender. They weren't submitting to the spirit at all. They were still submitting to their ego. And so that allows it allows everything else to come in. The enemy can come in and play now because you've given them an opening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all drugs is an opening. It's an opening for negating forces to come play in your life. It's a lot of those different, you know what I mean? Like, there are a lot of openings. And so, like you're saying, if we really want revolution, I told my son this when I was having him fast for the first time. He was like 10. And of course, he was complaining about how he didn't want to fast. And I said, if you ever want to do anything meaningful in your life, you got to build discipline. Because the first place the enemy comes to destroy you is through your own vices, through your own weakness. No one can destroy you without your permission, because we are the spirit, we powerful beings. You allow your own destruction with your weakness, with your vices, with your lack of discipline. So if you utilize this opportunity to fast as a chance to build your inner strength, nobody's coming from the outside able to really destroy you.
Yeah.
It's going to start from the inside. So the more fortitude you build within yourself, you really become indestructible.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you tapped in. We talk about, you're talking about spirituality, right? And of course we have our atheist friends. They like, well, I don't believe in God or whatever, so on and so forth, right? And so we have and some folks they blame quote unquote religion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I want to touch on and maybe start with you, Sunny, just the difference between religion and spirituality, because I think that still to you, to I, to Mumu, it may sound like it's elementary, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, I think it's elementary to who it's elementary for, and it's collegiate to who it's collegiate for, right? And those I think it's just really because we're looking at, so even look at this, this aspect of religion in this way, even this aspect of realigning, this aspect of looking at it just from that space, and what is the practice, right, in that way that a person puts together. So even when it is a thing of our atheist brothers and sisters, and everyone else that comes in, it's still a thing of principle. I'm just big on what is when we're talking about principles. So when we're looking at principles, we know that these are things that do not change, right? So there's everybody knows what it is to be kind. Everyone knows what it is to be nice. Everyone, these kind of things that we can come up with, right? We know these kind of principles: truth, justice, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, propriety, all of these kind of things that come up. But again, these are things that just do not change. So we know that just from the sayings, right? From things that we say. It's not such and such owes me X amount of money. And you can tell that to somebody else, and somebody will say, don't worry about that money. I give you whatever amount. And then here come the next person. It's not the money. It's the principle. Right? So the thing is, the money, the amount of things, we're just using this as an example, but the amount of something can change. That's something. That's the variable, right? But the thing that does not change, this aspect of principle, right? Because you can say that all over the world and somebody else will finish the same, right? So this is about, how do we move from a principled place, from a place of principle? What is it that keeps us? So you can exchange the word, right? Exchange that aspect of spirituality, of religion, whatever word you want to use for this aspect of truth, for this aspect of light, for this aspect of reciprocity, for this aspect, right? So we want to look at these kind of things, and how do we contribute to making this accessible, this aspect accessible. So the thing is, when we're looking at spirituality, we're also looking at this aspect of culture. So we're looking at, how is culture a barrier for me? How is my spirituality a barrier, something that keeps me safe? How is this thing of community a barrier for me, right? We one of my teachers, one of my dear mamas would always say, culture is the other vitamin C. So it's something that, so how are we creating culture? How is culture evolving? What does it look like when we know that we have a culture of violence? We know that we have a culture of weapons. We know that we have, these, all of these cultures, right, that present themselves as the presiding thing. We know what that looks like with white supremacy. And we're saying white supremacy using this word supreme with it, when in reality, right, it's white inferiority masking as supreme politic. So that's the thing, bringing this thing in again for us to be able to see where we need to, as Black folk especially, where we need to decolonize and remove the taste from our mouths, from our hearts, from our spirits, from our, from all of the parts that allow us to go forward, where we're comparing ourselves to this aspect of what has been presented as the supreme politic. And when we understand that this kind of oppression has been presented as what is supreme, then we start making certain moves to get out. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here, I've been very comfortable, and I realize that as I'm putting this up, like I got my whole blanket and all kinds of stuff. Lord, I realize I ain't even put no lipstick or nothing on, Lord. That's how you know you with family. Y'all have, what is this? Y'all have made it to the front porch. Y'all
with the
y'all
front
in the
porch.
front room in the front
Amen.
porch. This is how we move it.
It's
But
all good.
so no, this is a powerful piece, because I we're in a time now, especially where it's a lot of work that I have to do around climate, right? So a lot of the climate work and everything, and really going into these connections about how to look at climate from a holistic space, right? What does that mean to look at, to truly clear the air? What does this mean to, shift and change atmosphere? What really does this mean? What does it mean when we've been dealing with uh, marsh, especially in New Orleans, marsh fires and swamp fires? What does that mean when the water is on fire? What does that mean, right? So all of these kind of things that we wake up and come in with, but if we're not, if we don't have something that allows us to see ourselves in everything around us, then we will fall apart at every turn. So this is about, not just merely um, existing, but thriving where we exist, truly, blooming and growing and blossoming wherever we are. And what does that mean when we are in places that are deliberately set up to kill us?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what does this mean? So we're back again to this thing. I have to bring us back again to this thing of climate, because it's so often people will look at science and say, well, that's science, that's not spirituality. And we're like, well, here's the science of spirituality, and here's the spirituality of the science, here's the art of the science, here's the science of the art, and so forth and so on, and everything that comes to merge these worlds of intellect and intuition, right? Of head and heart, and everything that comes. So we're talking about this aspect of realigning ourselves with what brings us back to the source in the best, highest, and most appropriate way in the quickest time. So, when we're doing this work, and this is why I will keep going back to why art is so powerful. So, when we were at the UN, having to speak at the UN, and the thing is, you had a group of scientists who were meeting to never meet again. They were like, well, listen, by 2030, everybody's going to die because the temperature of the earth is moving in this direction and nobody will exist. And I'm like, how dare you? you know, the audacity of you to tell people here with hopes and dreams and grandchildren and children and everything else that, pull it together, because in the next couple of years, y'all are about to be out. Now, as a person that moves from a faith-based perspective, now, and I'm using faith-based in this sense of the word, where it is, listen, we out here trusting, we out here, moving from this space that really does allow us a peek into unseen worlds in this way. And I'm trusting and believing that there are elements and entities that are present that I may not always be able to see, but they still support me. So we have to move from a space, and I don't always like to say it in this way, like we have to move from this space. We really don't have to. But the reality is that when you are pulled to, when you are called to, there are things you can't unhear. There are things you can't unsee. And because you can't unhear it, because you can't unsee it, because you can't unfeel it, every moment you do feel even the slightest inkling of it, you will begin to give thanks. And that is what we call intuition in that way, right? So, and we know what it is to deny this aspect of intuition. We know what it is to go against the gut feeling. We know what it is to, we know what it's like to say, damn, I knew it. So this is about, our art and this aspect of spirituality and this aspect of religion, this aspect of realigning, this aspect of getting us back to this core and to the center again in the best way, is that we are able to not die prematurely. This is what art does. It allows us to not die prematurely. It allows me to not go before my time. It allows me to it structures something in me where I'm able to identify and see that a new world really is for me. We see that now with how people are. We see that in what work days, even let's just look at work in this way, how people are identifying work now, how people are doing work differently, what people are asking for, what people are demanding, what people are, we see this all the time now. People are, what's a big thing? Rest is big, right? Just an absolute big thing. But it's no coincidence that we're seeing this emergence of this word. We're seeing this emergence of this at a time when you have people who are saying the world is about to end. So what does that mean? What does that mean for us? What does that mean for the artists? What does that mean for people? What does that mean for humanity? What does that mean for the climate? And certainly we know that climate is not just centered around precipitation and weather and wind and rain, but it is, what is my inner landscape about? What is it? What are my internal and external values? Do I value the people that are in front of me? Do I value myself? Do I see myself in the people that's here on the screens in front of me right now? Right. So these are things that I think play a big part in how we are moving in this aspect of aligning ourselves with what is real and right and true. And then sometimes that's a relative thing, because we can say what people should be doing all day, but a should list can turn into a shit list at any given moment. So the reality is that what is it that's going to allow me to practice forgiving myself for not hitting the mark? Because we're also living in a space and living in a society where everything is so goal oriented and goal centered. Not saying that I'm against it, but I am saying when we're talking about building and expanding and enhancing community, we know that this is not a project, it is a process. So when we're talking about the process of building humanity and rebuilding and healing and showing what it means to have hope, the bravery of and courage of being hopeful, that again we are not dying prematurely, when we're doing this kind of work, it's it ain't always easy, but it's necessary. It ain't always painless, but it's necessary and it's possible. And we got to have some joy in the midst, and we got to have some time in between. So I'm grateful that everything is around into this space where what could have taken us however many years before, the redirection time that it takes me to get back to myself, that it takes me to get back to the capital S source, is being cut down tremendously. This is what our spirituality is supposed to do. This is what this aspect of this realigning is supposed to do. This is what, coming together in and with and around community is supposed to do. It's supposed to cut down my redirection time. So what would have taken years now takes months, since we got to measure things. What would have taken months can now take weeks. What would have taken weeks can now take days. What would have taken days, now before you know it, I'm here. I'm present. And present, even from that word, we've spoken about this before, this thing of the present. The thing of the present is not just about a right now time, but it is about how I am serving my right now based on a present moment, right? So I'm looking at this word from every angle. The present, that is the gift, but also the present, that is the present moment that has me in this right now. So you said it when you were like, like consequences from years before. Even when we think about climate, what we are trying to fix now is things that happened 40 years ago. So we know yet again that this present is present. And we also know that while we are here in this present, working with this present moment, that we are also gearing up and you know, putting energy out so that the wonder of our future can make it to us in the best way.
Right.
So just even in that, we've been experiencing several dimensions of time. So this is, you know, what aligns me to this aspect of not just being on time, but being in time and honoring ourselves and honoring one another in the process. And again, if our spirituality, if our art, if our religions do not bring us to this space where I'm able to see myself in all of these things, then put it in the garbage.
Watching RSTV, and that is the Right Reverend Sunni Patterson. She just dropped some science, spirituality, and some spiritual science. Did I get that right?
That's it.
All up on your forehead. Mumu, what you got for us? I mean, I saw you over there look like you was about to grab the tambourine for, you know, a little while ago. You know what I mean? But yeah, and I unite with everything you said, Sonny, and it's necessary. Mumu, how do you feel spirituality, religion, you know, how does that play away, you know, in as to Sonny's point, to our longevity and, you know, our past, present, and future? And how does it work towards, you know, we talk about quote unquote revolution. You know what I'm saying? How important is that spiritual base? Because I have my ideas, but you know, I'm just a ranting raving lunatic.
I mean, yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's every spirit is everything. You know, religion is different than spirituality. Some people really need religion, though. Some people need it. For some people, spirituality is a little too loose and there's not enough structure, and it won't benefit them.
Right.
So it really depends on who you are and what you need. I think for every kind of person that exists, there's something out here that, you know, that you got to find what you need, get what you need, you know. So like I was raised Muslim, but my mother is also is indigenous, so I also was raised with my indigenous culture, and then I was raised around Ifa, you know. So I've gone through some initiations as a child. I was raised around the Akan, raised around the Sangomas of South Africa. So yeah, I've been exposed to a lot of different. My grandmother was a Baptist, you know, I don't know the denomination, but you know, she was like a holy roller. And then I also grew up with you know, Shango Baptist, like someone that's like my grandmother, you know, who sent me through ceremonies to protect me at different points in my life. So I just, you know, I get down with everybody when it's pure, you know, when it's God, when it makes sense, when it's yeah, when there's some spiritual alignment there. I'm aware that there is a higher power and that higher power is also in me. Um, but I think I just been like, I have been given that I'm just like a very kind of open-minded person. I can rock with everybody. I can go to everybody temple, everybody church, everybody mosque, you know, and I still can also hold my own and be clear about I can sit and talk to God directly. I also don't need to go through nobody. I don't need to go through nobody, no medium, no nothing to tell me what God said. Cause I can sit in my own bedroom in my own quiet and ask God, what'd you say yourself? You know? So I don't, revolution is no different than anything else you want to do. In my understanding, I mean, we spiritual beings. I don't know what it is. What could a spiritual being do without spirit? Whatever you're gonna do, spirit is involved. I mean, you know, if people don't want to acknowledge that, sure, you can cut yourself off from the understanding and awareness of it if you choose. You can have like I don't feel like it's right or wrong. It's just what experience do you feel like having? You know, how easy or difficult do you feel like this being? How comforting or uncomforting? You know, life gonna unfold the way it's gonna unfold. The truth doesn't need you to believe in it. You know, you're gonna have whatever experience that you call to yourself. So that's how I feel. And I feel like that is the same for everybody, whether you whatever, if you're African, if you're not African, whatever culture you come from, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience on some level. we ain't these bodies no way. You know, I've had outer body experiences that really helped me understand, oh, this is a suit. We ain't this body anyway, you know. So that allows me to give a lot of grace to myself and to other people. You know, I don't feel caught up in whatever, if a person's atheist, if they just religion, that religion, it don't make me no difference. I'll come and pray with all y'all, or don't pray, or whatever, whatever it is y'all want to do, you know. I'm very open-minded about it because, you know, if you got it wrong, if you got it right, we all gonna go back to the same place and it ain't gonna matter. You know, well, what are you doing while you're here to improve the future of the next 7 generations? You know, what are you doing while you're here to improve, to you know, impact this place in a positive way? I want the earth to be better because I lived. You know, I want my existence to have mattered when I go. You know, like I want someone's life to have been made better just because my mama had me, you know, because I lived at this time on earth. So that's my feeling about it. Is it's simplistic, you know, because we're spiritual beings. Spirituality is actually very simplistic. Um, and it ain't nothing you gotta get to. It's already in you. You know, it ain't on you, it's in you. You don't have to go through nobody and know nothing. But some people do need religion. I do believe some people need it, you know, and they would not be okay having this open-minded, you know, formless perspective that I have. They wouldn't be comfortable. That wouldn't work for them, you know. And so I feel like whatever it is that you need, get what you need from wherever you got to get it from.
Yeah.
I guess it would be like you said earlier, it's a form of discipline because you need that structure in order to keep you grounded. I mean, and that's very important, like you said, for some people.
I want to say, Kalonji, but that is extremely important because we're back again to the foundation and
Right.
what's really needed, you know, for your own individual path. You know, that's like that saying, there is no one coming. God.
Right.
So, you know, it's like, oh,
Right.
me? Okay. What I need to do? What do I need to do for this part now? So yeah,
Responsibility.
it's
Right.
that thing, like, you know, we get so caught up in the doing of something that when we recognize this being in this way, this true I am, we attach all kind of stuff to it. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this is a big piece that allows us to again grow in truly in magnificent ways if we're looking at it like we're all specks. Like if it was a big what is it, like a camera or something that, you know, went up and then saw that every speck, every whole person was a speck on, you know, just a cell
Yeah.
on the body of this aspect of universe in this way. And we can change these words and names
Mhm.
and all of this kind of stuff, but the essence of everything will still
Yep.
exist. The essence of it all is still there. And how magnificent is that?
Yeah.
You know, and we know that we get the example of that. We get the example of it all the time, over and over, over and over, because this aspect of creation, the creator aspects of us always loves to be known.
Mhm.
We can know all of ourselves, just to show that, you know, that's a powerful piece to know that, you know, just like you said, sis, when you were like, listen, I have to be very careful with my word.
Yeah.
So when we are moving from that space, who is that in pedagogy of the oppressed, right? When he said what, that one word is composed of two parts, reflection and action. And when one part is sacrificed, then the other has to suffer. So,
Mm.
you know, it goes into that. I would read in other places like, listen, the vibration of a word can last up to 200 years.
Whew.
And I'm like, I don't even know if it's true. Well, all I know is that, you know,
I
I
know I brought things into being. I mean,
you
I mean,
understand? Yes.
seriously, I had to think back like, oh, why did I
Did
do
I
that?
understand? Yeah. And it's like, and the universe is like, yes, you did.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's always this thing of just that. Yes, you did. Oh, I did it again. Oh, and again and again and again. So it really is that thing. How do you know when you would ask this? How do you want to experience this? The thing is, because you will have to experience it, whatever the it, you will have to experience it. Now, whether you experience it in joy or in pain,
right,
that's a whole nother thing, but you will experience the it, and the it as holy or as crass or as whatever it may be. We're here for the experience. So, the thing is to ensure that the experience is, can come from a space of true inner understanding, the inner workings of how we are crafting ourselves in this way, and what that means. And that's what this is, the work of the craft, even when you are the craft. So it's, really seeing ourselves and believing that we have that kind of power. So, I just think it's a beautiful conversation at this time.
No doubt. I know that you all, and again, I appreciate you all coming on. You're hard to catch. Usually when I text Sunny, she usually replies like within a year or two. I'm stuck talking with Trent in between, and that's like torture. You know what I mean?
I'm going to tell Trent.
We ain't snitching around here.
No, it was perfect. You know what this did? So Mumu, when he sent the message, so I just finished with the Ancestor Festival. I do the Ancestor Festival here in the city. And finished with the festival, and I was going in the woods for a week for a residency just to regroup and everything. And so it was my time to not do anything. So when when our brother called and was like, "Oh, can you do this on this date?" And it was like, "Yeah, I can do it," right? But how the universe works is then he called back. He was like, "No, it has to be next week." But what I'm saying that to say how beautiful this aspect of spirit is in this way, because spirit always wants us to keep our word.
Yeah.
And so the word was, no, this is going to be my time. I'm not doing anything, because this is not always a word that I say.
Right.
So it was like, yeah, we want to keep you to your word. We want you to, because that was something that came to me one day. I was looking at it with certain things that's just kind of going on. And I was like, dang, I wonder why this is happening. Spirit said, because you don't always keep your word to yourself. So here I was like,
word.
It's family. This is easy. Like, just like I'm here now with not a, now, I might look back and say, nah, I could have put a lip gloss on. I could have.
It's all good.
Right?
You look fancy to me, okay? I love that color. It's popping on. That mustard is popping, okay?
Well, thank you. But all of that. But Spirit was like, no, we're going to keep you to your word. So you don't know how, at the same time, how both of you, as, my brother and my sister, kept me to my word of taking the necessary time to rejuvenate, just kind of regroup, and be on your re stage while you, while you're in that mode. So so all of that to say, it was the right time.
Well, I'm gonna give credit to Mumu, because Mumu was like, "Yeah, let's do it in a few minutes." I'm like, "All right, hold on here, Sunny. I mean Tuesday." I'm like, "All right, bet."
Right.
This Tuesday, the following Tuesday. I'm like, "God damn, Mumu." I'm gonna give Mumu the credit for that. You know what I mean? She's
That's it.
But what I want to do again, I appreciate y'all. We got heavy into the spiritual side, and which goes hand in hand with art and culture. So it's just part of the whole piece. It is tradition here at RSTV. I know y'all been on here before. I think this is your first time coming on RSTV. I think Mumu, I think that we had you on the morning show and on I Mix What I Like and all that. But you finally came to the crib, so welcome. You know what I mean? Kick your feet up like Sunny. You know what I mean? But it is tradition that I pilfer some quote unquote bars from the guests. You know what I mean? We done had everybody from the last poets Chuck D, and all kinds of other folks in between. So if you all don't mind sharing with this poor righteous man over here, all right, I forget all that. Anyway, if y'all don't mind hitting some, giving the audience some spiritual tunes before we check out. If you don't mind sharing some of that art that you all been talking about, because again, oftentimes folks come on board and it's their first time. So I want them to kind of get an understanding. I know we playing the videos and all that, but ain't nothing like live and direct. So help me stay here.
Okay. All right. I got said some spiritual bars. All right.
I mean, however you want to go. Anything is spiritual coming from y'all. I know, I mean, one of your most gangster joints is a hip hop joint, I heard. But
What's the use in praying? What's the use in praying if you're gonna worry? What's the use in praying? What's the use in praying if you're gonna worry? What's the use in praying if you're gonna worry? What's the use in praying if you're gonna worry? If faith brings you peace, why am I stressing if God covers me? Blessings on blessings where I cannot see. I feel His presence. No, God in me. So if I believe, why do I worry and toss in my sleep? Sometimes I feel like my own enemy. But if you fight the water, you're going to drown in the sea. What's the use in praying? What's the use in praying if you're going to worry? What's the use in praying? What's the use in praying if you're going to worry? What's the use in praying if you're going to worry? What's the use in praying? That's what I got for you.
man, I'm over here trying to hold it down. Like yeah, that's cool, but good God Almighty is my
hold it down.
God Almighty, right. You understand?
Man, Lord, Sunny, bring us home in the name of Black Jesus.
What is the use? What is the use? Staying in that vein is the first thing that came. There's so many things that come to mind. For those working 25 hours a day for 24 cents an hour. For those who trod the streets, stressed heavy, their feet strapped with anguish, backs bent with burden. For those who live between the lines of fear and confusion. For those whose eyes have witnessed the sunrise and they still question the awesome power of a supreme being. For those against the wall or in the dust or behind the bars or on the other side of the barrel. For those who do not see God in the mirror or a tree or a blade of grass, a homeless man, a crescent moon, a drop of dew, a ray of sun, or a purple sky. For those who have given up on life and just wonder how they are still allowed to open their eyes real wide in the morning. And I say to you, it is not yet time to die. For seekers of a better way, for speakers of new words, for creators of another day, awake from your slumber, massive in number, as brave as thunder, as courageous as hope, as audacious as faith. I see heaven in your face. How does it feel just knowing that wherever you go, the holiest of holies is present in the form of you? So this is for you. It's for your worth. It's nothing less than divine. I'm saying this for all of those who survive, who get up, who scream, even when the takers try and zap their dreams, who shout no, who cry yes, who feel the glory of victory boiling in their chests. It's for the lovers of love, for thinkers of peace, for workers of justice, filled hands of freedom, whose voices ring high when vibrations are low. It's for the tillers of the earth and the seeds they sow. Grow big, grow long, grow up, and grow high. Rise and take your stance, because it is not yet time to die. I don't know why that was the first thing that came to mind. I thought I was going to say, but then that came out. But
yeah,
sometimes old stuff is always new, so it's always good.
Man, listen, right now, I gotta say I had a spiritual experience today. This is church for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the folks that's in the chat, I know y'all want to see this as a tour. I know y'all want to see at least 4 songs with these 2 people together. You know what I'm saying? So put it in the chat. Let's make it happen. You know, I ain't even ask them about it. Don't even really care. You know what I mean? So I just think it's necessary. I respect y'all highly. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that. You know, and we are forever grateful for your work. I can honestly say the 2 of you have helped me in my work, helped me to continue to carry on when, you know, they say it's lonely out in these streets. And like I said, man, you know, just the whole, man, y'all keep me moving, and I appreciate that. And that's on the real. And honored to have you on board today. No doubt. Man, y'all just messed my whole joint up. I'm like, I'm about to get up, start shouting or something. We don't need that. But yes, man, always love, always appreciation. What's the websites? Because I know that at least one of y'all here don't ever be promoting yourself. I ain't gonna say which one, but anyway, let us give some websites where they can support.
Mine is just Mumu Fresh, mumufresh.com.
Yep, mine is Sunni Patterson, SUNNI PATTERSON.com.
No doubt. Simple. MumuFresh.com, SunniPatterson.com. Definitely appreciate y'all coming on. We gotta do this again. I know I took more time than I told you. I told you I was gonna be in 15 minutes, but you know that wasn't gonna happen. But anyway, love and appreciation. Y'all be strong and stay on top.
Love you too. Peace, fam.
Love you, everybody.
Yes. You checking out RSTV. That was Mumu Fresh, Sunni Patterson. You know, again, you had the opportunity. These are 2 greats when it comes to our liberation movement. These are people that, you know, I absolutely respect. Make sure you support their work, that support their efforts. We will be coming through different areas with some of the artists and some of the guests that you see on RSTV. So make sure that you check it out. I'm gonna close out with a couple videos. One, we'll start with Sunny, and then we'll have Mumu take us out. So make sure y'all stay tuned, support RSTV, support Black Power Media, and stay on top of the world. Stay tuned for these couple videos so y'all can get a little bit more. I shouldn't give y'all nothing else. I mean, y'all just got a whole nice array. But anyway, I'm Kalonji Changa, RSTV, Ancestors' Wildest Dreams. Stay on point.
How many more examples of destruction will it take for us to lift this veil of ignorance that drapes our faces? We place hands over ears, eyes closed, mark mute, walk dead, have to, because they shoot before we speak. But when you know the truth of what they do to those who refuse to believe in the lies they feed now, it's either we would crawl and give in feeling helpless under the pressure, or we would remember. We would remember how to walk like warriors, how our feet are on the shoulders of giants, how we've conquered chaos before. We've compromised our divinity far too long, and all at the hands of an oppressive entity that deliberately aims to kill. And still they will use poison and steel or cotton and fields, take trillions of dollars, pollute all the water, destroy everything from Phoenix to Florida, then still find time to pimp your daughter or sodomize your son, turn 2 parents into one, because one is never enough in this world of too much. Oh, here is the classic equation. Divide up a family, multiply mommy's movements, because daddy didn't move when no responsibility can ever find him. Add in depression and bitterness, subtract the encouragement, then watch the percentages fill up the prisons. You see, we are master mathematicians, exponents of confusion. We be choosing death as if there are no other options left, or right, up or down, shiftless vagabonds roaming around searching for something safe, seeking, never finding or recognizing the space inside, that soft, quiet sound that doesn't compete with the crowd of voices or the violent volume. In here is the value of you. So now this is like a vowel. It's standing in the midst of clanging consonants. It's constant. It's a kind reminder of the connection of us when so often we have been picked apart, separated and sorted as casual as laundry. After all, they say we should never mix the colors and the whites, right?
Okay, well, now on the other hand, there was a time, right? There was a time when Mr. always preferred Mammy over the Mrs. Forced crinkled fingers in crevices too sacred to mention. And though this has happened time and time again now, she still flinches at the scent and sight. But this time, this time, she placed something inside whereby twilight on the third night, see, I'm in New Orleans, I talk like this. She placed something inside whereby twilight on the third night of the fourth week, he would be gone and no one would miss him, not even his children. Herein is the power of the medicine men. It's the gree of the conjure women, them who make charms that ward off harm, them fighters forming freedom around their feet so that wherever they walk, their souls would know that liberation lives wherever they go, and wherever they go, the Spirit of God is them who see the pattern of God in the stars, whether that be in the sky or in your eyes, them light-bodied beings speaking love in an atmosphere filled with fear. Oh, here they come, lips laced with prayer, bearing gifts given by the great one who gives the best gifts. They lift their hands in gratitude, bidding us to rise. They call us to our higher selves. They remind us we can fly or just feel what it's like to live with no holds, no holes, no has, just whole, because Lord knows it only takes one reason for the biggest believer to become the most unfaithful. But ain't that how the world go? Create a slither of doubt and then soon it turns out to be this mountain of madness. Oh, this is hell in a handbasket. It's bastard children playing hide and seek between dilapidated buildings and shards of concrete. There are no playgrounds in these towns, no jungle gyms for them, no green space dedicated for relaxation or shelter when the sky rains bombs or the breeze blows bullets or the earth can't stop her shape. Take a moment, let us reflect on this mess we have made. We have rejected nature's voice, all in search of material gain, donning the rags of the disastrously insane. My God, not this again. Not the different name, same situation again. Not to declare war, all in the name of peace, again and again and again and again and again and again and again. But then again, my God, thanks be to God, there are them who can rouse us from our drowsiness, who save us from our haphazardness, who assist in realigning our energies with heavenly elements. And there are skeptics who will balk. Oh, now there she go with that dreamer talk, as if every masterpiece didn't first start from just a thought. If only we could see through the eyes of our hearts and go straight to the matter, eliminate the rhetoric, strip everything down to its natural essence, and it is there we will find the answer. The greatest, the only example, and by far the most revolutionary weapon we all have, and that is love. All right.
Follow the drinking gold, follow the drinking gold, for the old man is waiting for to carry you to freedom. Follow the drinking gold.
The monkey wrench turns the wagon wheel towards Canada. With help from Jesus the carpenter, follow the bear's trail through the woods. Fill your baskets with enough food and supplies to get you to the crossroads. Once you're at the crossroads, dig a log cabin in the ground. Shoefly told us to dress up in cotton and satin bow ties. Follow the flying geese and birds in the air. Stay on the drunkard's path. Take the sailboat across the Great Lakes to the North Star above Canada. Son, you gotta know that in this life, people will try to confuse you. You will get lost, and when you lose your way, remember that your ancestors were astronomers. They traveled thousands of miles with only a star as their guidance system. So when you lose your way in this world, and people try to confuse you about who you are, remember that
I said you were a king. And may these words resonate in your heart and in your mind forever. May they be your internal guidance system so that you may always find your way back home to yourself.
To anyone who listen, a soldier's on a mission. From Nova Scotia to the southernmost ocean, I boast for old tradition. While lesser men are comatose and frozen in a Polaroid, I play my own position. A couple times they kicked me out of school, even though I pay my intuition. Even though I pray for better days, when pops is locked up in a metal cage. Old Joes with the cornrows, a head of braids on a head of grades. Chasing greens in that feta cheese, instead of meditation to levitate. Some things you can't shortcut, the good word can't be paraphrased. So when you get a stain on your crown from fumbling down, pick it up and brush it off as part of the process. God made us from the dust. It's called favor with stars, shine a light on your dark fate to show you love. Even when you feeling low, you got your faith to hold you up. You got true art plus heart that darts can't pierce. Walk game fits. Graduate the block same year. Made a stream out of the same tears. Love lost, same peers. Paid costs, pain heals. Made adjustments through the changes. That's exactly what a king is.
Baby, if you lose your flowing through my ligaments. Thought-provoking type of lyricist. Don't come with no health benefits. I was too good to be good enough. They hated that I made them level up. And I was just looking for a friend. Silly me, silly them with the illy pen. Killing me. What's the lost man's medicine? A real ass kind of reckoning. Petty me, petty them. The righteous rose, the lonely one. The words I told my only son. The weak will fold and come undone. The strong will grow and lead them up. But what you do when no one agrees with you, huh? Can you still speak the truth? With no amens and no cosigns and no praise hands and no post lines. Everybody do the most now. Trying to prove that they woke, huh? May God give us discernment from the fake prophets and the posers. These days can't tell the same from the profane. Calling shit drip, chocolate rain, everything for sale. It's a damn shame. I've been woke so long, my eyelids swole. You couldn't know this road I'm on. I pray we make it home. My king, my son, my throne to carry on. Word on. On my square, wherever I go, I'm right here. Even when there's fear, my guiding light shines clear, lifting me above the crowd.